More superstars get new WWE in-ring names. Bret Hart is to manage FTR, but not in AEW. And Matt Hardy has responded to complaints about the Hardys being used on AEW Dark, so stay tuned. So we all knew they weren't over yet. They indeed aren't. More WWE stars getting new in-ring names according to trademark filings and a report from PW Insider here. We already knew a couple of them. Cruz del Toro, formerly Raul Mendoza, and Roxanne Perez, formerly Roxy, who made her NXT debut on Level Up. But there's two new ones that have become apparent. According to PW Insider, Casey Catanzaro, she's got a new ring name, Katana Chance.
What does it even mean?
Katana's a big sword, right?
It's like the Japanese sword, right? A katana.
Yeah. To be honest, Catanzaro is a mouthful.
Yeah.
Katana Chance, it's all right. All right. I'm not too keen on this next one, though. Former NXT UK Women's Champion Kaylee Ray, she's now Alba Fire.
Yes.
Like Jessica Alba and Fire Festival.
And Fire, Fraser put this in the chat, and he said that it translates in Gaelic to Scotland Fire. So that could be the reason as to why they've changed it to that. But
right.
It just sounds... Alba Fire, I don't know. I mean, maybe it's one of those things, right, where we're like, oh, it sounds naff, and then later down the line, we just completely forget about it anyway, right? And it just becomes second nature to say these names. But Alba Fire over Kaylee Ray, I don't know.
Yeah, I quite like Kaylee Ray. I know she's been Kaylee Ray forever. A lot of this comes down to... them not wanting to let them use any part of their real name anymore. So Kaylee Ray's real name is Kaylee Ray, just spelled differently. It's Kaylee and then Ray, like Summer Ray. Is Casey Catanzaro her legit name?
I think it might be, you know.
Catanzaro, it feels like it, doesn't it? No, Casey Esther Catanzaro. So that was always going to be on the chopping block. We'll keep you updated if there are going to be any more. There will be more. Of course there'll be more, especially as more get called up to the main roster. That's when you might see them start happening. But a few there already to add to the pile of pretty awful names. One thing that isn't awful, Bret Hart, the GOAT, FTR, arguably the best tag team wrestling today.
Yeah. Without a doubt.
Make up your own mind. Oh, yeah?
Yeah. I mean, like, I don't see any other tag team at the moment. I mean, obviously, you know, you got the Young Bucks and whatnot as well, but, like, I just think FTR, there's something about them, right, that blends the old school with also the new school, but, like, in the most perfect, like, the best of both worlds, and it just combines them perfectly. They're good uns, okay. FTR.
Yeah, they are good uns. I prefer the Usos, but just by a smidge.
Ooh.
Just by a smidge. But they're in my top three, that's for sure. Anyway, they are going to be managed by Bret Hart. They've been asking about this forever. They've been very, very public about the fact that they want Bret Hart in their corner. It's happening, but it's not happening in AEW yet. Anyway, Big Time Wrestling tweeting a match graphic. FTR will finally get their chance to be managed by Bret Hart when they take on the team of Brian Pillman Jr. and Brock Anderson with Arn Anderson. That's a crack at that, isn't it?
That's a cracker.
So good. So good.
I mean, it's one of those things. I was always hoping to see more of Arn and Brock together, and I hope we do see more of it on AEW TV. We've seen a little bit of it now. You know, Arn's not really got too much going on with Cody disappearing to WWE, so, like, I'm glad that they're teaming these two together, and they just look a spitting image. They look like brothers more than father and son. Yeah,
there's a bit of an age gap there, isn't there? But you wouldn't know it. Arn Anderson, in fairness, has always looked like a very, very old man.
Yeah.
And his son doesn't look especially different to that. It's really cool. Anyway, that's happening on Friday, June 10th in Webster, MA, Massachusetts, right? Yeah.
Yes, yeah.
Webster, Massachusetts. Anyway, so that's exciting. Do you think that this might lead to them doing it on a bigger stage?
I hope so. I mean,
me too.
There's been so much of a tease for so long now, and with Dax just like tweeting out about how much he loves Bret and everything and whatnot. Like, I think it makes sense, and it'd be like a huge get for AEW. They tend to use their legends really well in terms of elevating younger stars and whatnot too. So like, I think Bret coming in is a huge thing for FTR, and now that they're massive baby faces as well, like, I think it just elevates them to that next level in AEW. So yeah, absolutely. I hope we do. Me
too. It's interesting you say that, Andrew, about the old codgers. elevating the younger talent, because Matt Hardy is one man who agrees with you. Matt Hardy was tweeted by a guy called Changa YT over the weekend, who said, Jeff Hardy was on AEW Dark Elevation this week and nobody has a problem with it. Jeff Hardy was on Main Event a couple of times and Twitter caught on fire and cried. Compare the pair. Before we read Matt's response to this, I think that's a really fair comment personally, because people did get their panties in a twist about Jeff being on Main Event, and a few other big talents being on there as well. Finn Balor springs to mind. People that WWE didn't seem to have creative plans for ending up on a show which isn't watched by a great number of people and is pretty inconsequential and all that. Anyway, Matt Hardy responding, because you follow me, Changa, I'll give you insight. TK treats veterans/legends with the utmost respect and uses us the same. It's refreshing. Tony asked us if we were okay being on, and we were both happy to do so. We want to work with young stars like Top Flight. It's a treat to work at AEW. You never hear a bad word, do you?
No, you don't.
So this relates to two recent matches as well. Like, I mean, Jeff Hardy coming into AEW, a month and a half ago or something like that. And I understand the criticism there, because the fact that he's already doing Dark and Dark Elevation, he did the Dark Elevation taping, Hardy's and Top Flight against Private Party, and Angelico and Jack Evans, and then another Dark taping with Kaz and the Hardys taking on Top Flight, Angelico, Max Garster, Private Party, The Blade. That's a hell of a match. That's all over the shop really there. There's a lot of people there. So actually, I think that's a fair criticism. I'm glad that the Hardys are happy with doing so. And I guess I can't remember off the top of my head who Jeff Hardy wrestled on Main Event, and if the same argument could be made that if it was a younger guy and he was helping. And
this is what I was saying. I feel like, and I could be extremely wrong, I feel like it might have been Ricochet, or someone of that caliber.
It was, because it was like a dream match, a potential dream match.
Yeah, and it was on.
It was on Main Event, and nobody. Yeah, it was. Yeah, you're right.
And like, I completely, like you said, I get the criticism, absolutely. But at the same time, as you were just saying, Ricochet is already quite an established guy as well. And so I can see why, like, them two being on Main Event, that does, I mean, people would cry, right? Why is that match on Main Event and not on, like, a Raw or a pay-per-view or something like that? But whereas, like, I guess with Dark and whatnot, there is a bit more of a development type of thing, the older guard are sort of helping out the younger guard a little bit. Not that Ricochet, he's not young and maybe needs to develop certain things here and there. He's still fantastic as it is, but like I get both sides. I get the criticisms, and I get why people would be like, oh no, but there is a bit of a difference kind of thing.
Yeah, I think something's a little bit wrong.
Yeah.
If Jeff Hardy, having been there for less than a month and a half, in fact, his first match being on the 16th of March, is already doing stuff on Dark and Dark Elevation.
Yeah.
That soon. I think that's a fair criticism.
Yeah,
anyway.
Yeah, definitely.
We're finishing off with an update on AEW and the potential AEW New Japan Pro Wrestling Super Show. So Tony Khan, once again, is teasing a big announcement that's happening on this week's episode of Dynamite, and speculation is rife. It's a big announcement, huge announcement. It's been speculated via the Super J podcast that this is to announce plans for a joint New Japan / AEW show that's going to happen this June in Chicago. There's been a lot of talk that might be a stadium show. It could be something to do with that. But Meltzer giving a bit of an update on Sunday night's Main Event podcast, saying that this might be to do with Ring of Honor and getting a TV or streaming deal. Meltzer said he acknowledged that he's heard the rumors about a joint show with New Japan, and he said that the story has not been confirmed to him, but also it hasn't been denied either. He said, yeah, I heard the rumors, and the only thing I can say is that I asked and it wasn't denied. It wasn't confirmed, and they're not going to confirm to me the surprise, so that leaves one on the table as a potential surprise, because if they're not doing that show, I believe that he would have been told they're not doing it. So basically what he's saying in his garbled way of talking is that they didn't turn it down, so that's likely to be happening, because otherwise he thinks they would have just said, nah, that's not happening. So it's one or t'other, right? I would be a bit underwhelmed if it's just Ring of Honor's going to be on the telly, personally. But
yeah, me too. It feels like we've been talking about a New Japan and AEW crossover proper pay-per-view or something, you know, for a long time. And I think, obviously, you know, the history of New Japan and Ring of Honor, they've done things together for lots and lots of years. And, like, I think it would make sense now with Tony Khan having bought Ring of Honor, that being part of the AEW family. It makes a lot of sense, doesn't it, to bring these two things together? Not to mention, like, the talent that continuously crosses over. Hello, I've disappeared now. I'm not actually on the screen
David
anymore.
Blaine.
I know.
It's all right. We're wrapping up anyway.
We are wrapping up anyway. So yeah, I think this would be a fantastic announcement to make, and I can definitely see it being a huge possibility in the future.
I really miss you, Andrew.
I miss you too.
It's not the same not being able to see your face. Anyway, that's it from us. Hopefully we'll be back when we sort these tech issues once again with some more news this afternoon. Just a heads up, no stream from me tomorrow. I've got COVID again. So I feel absolutely dog rough, like Keith Lard. So no stream tomorrow, unfortunately. But we will be back with loads of great content. So keep an eye out. Andrew, are you streaming today?
I am, yes. Twitch.tv/Cultaholic.
I know the URL, mate. I know the URL. I set the account up.
You know the URL. They might not know the URL. We're going to date some pigeons as a human with her tearful boyfriend, so that'll be lovely.
Awesome. That's not a game, by the way, despite what he said. He's going out. He's going to do live streaming outside. Yeah, he's just going to be... It's going to be really, really cruel. Thanks very much for watching. All the best. Goodbye.